My name is Adrian Sterling, and I am a billionaire. I own a tech empire that spans 40 countries. I have penthouse apartments in Manhattan, London, and Tokyo. I have driven Ferraris and flown private jets. I have sat across from world leaders and celebrities. I have everything a person could possibly want. But for 32 years, I have been missing something I did not know. I needed my brother. It started on an ordinary Wednesday morning. My previous driver, Thomas, had called in sick, and the company sent a replacement. I did not pay much attention to these things. Drivers came and went. I spent most of my time in the back seat, working on my phone or laptop, barely acknowledging the person in front. The new driver's name was Daniel. He was in his early 30s, with warm brown skin and dark eyes that seemed kind in a way that most people's eyes were not. He helped me with my bag, confirmed my schedule, and started driving without making unnecessary conversation. I appreciated the silence. For 2 weeks, Daniel was my driver. Every morning, he picked me up at 7 o'clock. Every evening, he drove me home. We exchanged pleasantries, nothing more. I did not even know where he was from, or what his life was like outside of driving me around the city. Then something happened that changed everything. I was in the back seat, working on a merger that would bring our company revenue up by $300 million. I was distracted, frustrated with the details, angry that things were not moving faster. When we hit traffic on the expressway, I made an impatient sound and muttered a curse under my breath. Daniel glanced at me in the rearview mirror. And then he did something that none of my other drivers had ever done. He turned down the radio and started humming. It was not a random tune. It was a specific melody, one that I had not heard in almost 3 decades. It was the lullaby my mother used to sing to me when I was a child. The lullaby she sang to me the night before. Everything fell apart. I froze, my fingers still on my keyboard, unable to move. Daniel kept humming, seemingly unaware of the effect his song was having on me. "Where did you learn that song?" I asked, my voice more urgent than I intended. Daniel stopped humming and glanced at me again in the mirror. "What song?" "The one you were just humming." "Where did you learn it?" He shrugged. "Honestly, I am not sure. My mother used to sing it to me when I was little. It is the only thing I remember about her. My social worker said she used to hum it to calm me down when I was upset. I guess I just picked it up from her." Social worker. The words hit me like a physical blow. "What is your full name?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer in my heart. "Daniel Morris." "Why do I know you from somewhere?" Morris, my mother's maiden name. My hands were shaking. I could barely breathe. "Pull over," I said. "Pull the car over right now." Daniel looked alarmed, but he immediately moved to the shoulder of the expressway and put the car in park. He turned around to face me, concern written all over his face. "Mr. Sterling, are you okay? Do you need me to call someone?" "What year were you born?" I asked. 1991, September 15th. "Why, Mr. Sterling, you are scaring me." September 15th, 1991. I was born in 1989, March 7th. My mother had another baby 2 years after I was born, a baby boy. But when I was 5 years old, my father took him. My parents were going through a bitter divorce, and my father decided to take my little brother as revenge. He told my mother he was taking me to the park. Instead, he drove to another state and left my brother with a stranger, a woman who abandoned him at a hospital. I never saw my brother again. My mother spent years searching for him. The police investigation went nowhere. My father claimed he did not remember where he had left the baby. He went to prison, eventually. Not for what he did to my brother, but for financial crimes, years later. My mother died when I was 22, heartbroken and never knowing what had happened to her son. And all this time, that son had been working for me, driving me around the city, humming the same lullaby my mother had sung to both of us. Adrian Morris, I said quietly. That is your birth name. You were born Adrian Morris. I am your brother. Adrian is also my first name. Adrian Sterling. We share the same mother. Daniel stared at me like I had lost my mind. That is not possible. It is possible. It happened. My father took you when you were 2 years old. He abandoned you. I am sorry. I am so sorry. I did not even know you existed until this moment. But I am sorry. I showed him pictures on my phone. Pictures of our mother, who bore a striking resemblance to him. Pictures of the house I grew up in. I told him our mother's name, our grandmother's name. Details about our family that he could not possibly have known if I was lying. And as I talked, I watched his face transform. From confusion to understanding to shock to overwhelming emotion. He started to cry. Big, heaving sobs that shook his entire body. I used to have dreams, he said through his tears. Dreams about a woman singing to me, about a boy who looked like me. My social worker said they were just fantasies, that my mind was creating memories that were not real, but they were real. They were memories of you, of our mother. I climbed out of the back seat and sat in the front passenger seat, next to him. I did not know what to say. I did not know how to make up for 30 years of separation, so I just sat with him while he cried. And then I started to cry too. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your city in the comments, because I need to share this moment with people who understand what it means to find family you thought you had lost forever. I do not understand, Daniel said eventually, his voice raw from crying. How did I end up as your driver? What are the odds of that? I do not know. Maybe there is no such thing as coincidence. Maybe the universe had a plan for us to find each other again. I made a decision in that moment that changed both of our lives. I told Daniel to take the rest of the day off. I asked him to meet me at my office the next morning, and I told him to bring any documents he had about his past, his birth certificate, adoption papers, anything that might help establish his identity and his connection to our family. Over the next few weeks, I hired a private investigator to confirm what I already knew in my heart. The DNA test came back positive. Daniel was absolutely, without question, my biological brother. Our mother was the same. Our father was the same. We were family. I offered him a job in my company. I told him I would help him with anything he needed, but Daniel surprised me. He said he wanted to finish his degree. He had always wanted to go to college, but life had gotten in the way. Money had gotten in the way. So I sent him to college. I paid for everything. And more importantly, I spent time with him, real time. I took him to lunch and listened to his stories about growing up in foster care, about the caseworkers who cared and the ones who did not, about the dreams he had given up because he thought they were impossible. We talked about our mother. I shared memories with him, told him about her kindness and her strength. I showed him videos I had kept of her singing that lullaby. He watched those videos over and over, tears streaming down his face, finally able to connect with the woman who had given him life. On his college graduation day, Daniel walked across that stage and received his diploma. I sat in the audience, recording every second, crying openly like I did not care who saw. After the ceremony, Daniel found me in the crowd and hugged me. Not a quick, awkward hug. A real hug. The hug of someone who had finally found what he was missing. "Thank you," he said. "Thank you for finding me. Thank you for not giving up on me." "I did not find you," I said. "You found me. You hummed that song and you called me back to my past. You reminded me that there are some things more important than money, or business, or power. There are some things that matter infinitely more." "Like what?" Daniel asked. "Like family, like love, like the connection that binds us to each other, no matter how far apart we are, or how long it has been. Like a mother's lullaby that travels through time and space, and brings two brothers back together. My life has changed dramatically since I found Daniel. I stepped back from some of my business responsibilities. I started spending more time with my brother. I created a scholarship fund in our mother's name for foster children aging out of the system. I became an advocate for family reunification services. And I learned that being a billionaire means very little if you do not have family to share it with. Daniel and I have become inseparable. We have inside jokes and shared memories that are being created every single day. We have plans to travel together, to visit the places our mother always wanted to go. We talk about starting a foundation together to help other families separated by circumstance and violence and poor choices. Sometimes I still cannot believe it is real. That the man who was driving me around the city, who I barely noticed, was my brother all along. That a simple melody could unlock 30 years of separation and bring us back to each other. My mother is gone, and she never got to see this moment. She never got to know that her son was alive and well, and that someday, somehow, he would find his way back to us. But I believe she knows now. Wherever she is, whatever comes after this life, I believe she knows that her two boys found each other. And I believe she is finally at peace.